Well, wow, everybody. Wawa Nui, welcome back. Okay, for anybody that is new to me or new to the Lemurian, um, interesting. I'm showing nobody's here, but I can see people that have posted. So I guess StreamYard is going to be unique this week. Anyways, as I was saying, Wawa Nui is Lemurian greeting, and Wa is actually the Lemurian principle of first love. Wawa means much love, and Wawa Nui means much love to everybody. So, welcome back, everybody. And this week we will be starting with, of course, we are already in Maita, but we will be coming into the motu of Kirihi. If I slow down, I can say it. I'm having to practice some of these names. This is one that I usually pronounce with a T instead of an R, but that's just because I struggle with it. But it's properly called Kirihi, which is got an R in there. So, hello, welcome back, Rossi. Hi, Hypnicity, fellow wombat. Woot woot. Hello, Paul Freed. So, what are you up to this week? So, looks like Thursday morning you will be actually inside the mansion in Graceland. Wow, that's going to be a lot of fun. Congratulations. Yeah, say hi to Elvis for us. Let me see. So, my hubby was supposed to get his shoulder surgery tomorrow, but then it got rescheduled for next week. Oh, okay, sure. So I'm trying to trust his. It's very difficult. I understand how stressed out you are, but I find sometimes whenever things are aligned like this, there is a very good reason for it. And so just trust that it's going to be maybe a better time for this to happen. Maybe the people doing the surgery will be lined up a bit better. Is it true today we should write our name in salt water? If you would like, you can do that process. That's fun. Go for it. I've also seen other people at the beginning of the month, although I think it's more of one of those things where you do it around moon times where you're playing with cinnamon, blowing cinnamon and salt into or out of the home, the front door. That's another process people enjoy. So I'm saying my house today. Tomorrow I will blow, yeah, cinnamon in the door. Hadn't heard of the saltwater thing, but it can't hurt. That's just it. Try it. See it. It might be fun. Saltwater is very cleansing. So it's conceivable by doing that process that you may clear things from your name. And your essence is hidden within your name. I'm actually, Paul, I'm hearing to do for the process, go ahead and do a full, do your full legal name. So I don't know if you've got extra names. Sometimes people will do a even their baptismal or confirmational names. Saging, not saying, yeah. Saging is a good idea. Yeah, okay. Sure. So his episode was in June. So yeah, I'm glad that they gave it plenty of time because his body absolutely needed to stabilize for sure. And yes, Epsom salts are really nice. If you can't do it as a soak, I've found that you can actually toss some Epsom salts or even Himalayan rock salt or any other kind of salt into your shoes. And that's kind of nice too. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I haven't done it in a while. Hi, Lori Hunsinger. How are you today? It's already afternoon. We still have a little bit of daylight over here, so it's 10:30, and it's kind of fun because I've been working with a couple of people that are in Hawaii, and so they're actually 3 hours um, earlier, I guess, in the day than me. So it's only 7:30 for them. So Epsom salts, do you absorb magnesium benefits? Yes, Kat, you do. And that was part of why I was doing it because I didn't have the ability to do the soaks. You could also do that with your hands, but I found for myself I could just toss a little bit of the Epsom salt. Like I was waking up with some foot cramps in the morning, which is terrible. And so for the magnesium, I was tossing that into my shoes and it was absorbing through the soles of my feet quite easily, and so it stopped that whole leg cramp, foot cramp thing pretty quickly. which made me happy because I figured, well, why go through the entire body? Just toss it where the source is needed. Yeah, I do that too, the Celtic salt. I was doing it for a long time with my Himalayan rock salt. Actually, I'd completely forgotten about it, so I'll have to do that. I do take the magnesium orally, so I could do the salts. Give it a try, Kat. If you're going to do it, what you might do is maybe set aside your magnesium. It depends on your body, because like for me, if I take too much magnesium, I end up being at one with the toilet. So if it's a case of where you have loose tummy from that, you can pause your oral and give it a try in the socks instead. What or soaking? You can do it as a soak. Now, I will caution, I have heard, and I think that's also on the bags. I didn't realize it initially, but supposedly if you are diabetic, you need to be careful with soaking with Epsom salts. Something to do with if you're diabetic, your wounds don't heal as quickly. So apparently that's a caution that you need to do. Having my little Debbie cake. Those are so good. I love Debbie cakes. So I take my magnesium, my D3 and K2, good for you, at night. That's great. So I am so happy today. My pair of owls finally returned this morning. Ah, they were away for the north, weren't they, for the summer? I was drinking my coffee and listening to them hooting to one another. How beautiful. Beautiful. Sure, sure, sure. Kat, to give you an example of what I do with mine, I don't soak, so I don't have the ability to soak. But what I do is I put it in my shoes, so it's on the sole bed of the shoes, and then I'm wearing socks. And I'm only mentioning the caution. I personally have never heard of anybody that was diabetic that had the problem. It's just I had heard it could be a problem for diabetics. So I just wanted to mention that to the audience. So everything that I'm sharing, primarily I am sharing, this is just for entertainment purposes only. So I always caution if it's something medical or something that you already know. If you already know that it will not work for you or your body, please follow your own intuition, because we are not cookie cutter. Everybody's got their own genetic makeup, because we're coming from different versions of the songs. So, what works for one person will not necessarily work for another person. What's one person's food is another person's poison. So you're always going to be the highest authority on you. So whenever I suggest things, just give it a try. And if you already know that that's something that you shouldn't do, then don't do it. Oh, a little surprised Annie Bear's not over here. I saw her in the other feed. Maybe she's off walking the doggy or something. Well, let's get started here. So I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit more information on this month. This Motu will be, sure, absolutely. Hey, girl, nice to see you. Absolutely. Let me see. So we have arthritis in the thumbs today. I know. He's really going through a rough patch. Brother Carl is behind the scenes. Brother Carl lives in the Philippines with his amazing kitty cats, and he's having a really hard time. He's currently having to, well, he lost his home, and I don't think he'd be ashamed of me saying that. So if you would like, please just add some extra prayers or good thoughts for him, that he and his kitties find the correct aligned place that's safer for them. We seem to have quite a bit of turmoil this month, or right now, I should say. We're just simply closing the old and going into the new. So we've just completed the Motu, the birth sign of the dove, and the essence for that month was peace. And I've also heard it expressed that the things that needed to come up during the month of August needed to be burnt off. And it was burnt off with the aid of coming into Wahi, which was the sun for last month. Now we are into the sign of the Lamb. And the cool thing about this month is the sign of the Lamb. The essence of this month is the truth. And so this is the month where the lamb will take its wool back. Now, you do have the choice, of course, because you always have the choice to keep the wool over your eyes. But this is the month where the lamb will take its wool back. And so you can see the truth, the real truth of everything. Oh, beautiful. I have my candle going. Thank you so much, Paul. Yeah, sending prayers for most beneficial outcomes for absolutely everybody. And so with the sign of the lamb, the essence being truth, the stargate that will happen for this motu will be called Tuahi, and that is Venus in the morning. And so what's going to happen is today we are sitting in the undistorted light that comes from the central sun. And the central sun is located in the Alkean belt, and that is located in the constellation of Pleiades. I know, right? Annie Bear got lost. She might have had to go out and do something more important. So with the Pleiades, it's also called Subaru, and it's also called the Seven Sisters. And so the Pleiades is where the Pleiadian energy is the basis of the Lemurian astrology, the Lemurian technologies that I use. And so what's going to happen for this upcoming motu is that the undistorted light from the central sun will then come through Venus in the morning to Ahi, and then it will beam out the essence of truth, not just for those that are born in the motu of October, but it will also be for everybody to be in the same. So it will be helping to clear up, because we currently have less than we did before, but we currently have a mesh of light distortions that are in and around the planet that have been put into place for a really long time. And so this light that's coming in, we're working with it, we're navigating. And so it will be, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. That is a great way to play with the energies coming in this month. So I'm going to start knitting this month to be playing with wool. That's amazing. I love that idea. And I have also asked for truth. Sometimes truth, whenever it comes in, is not what we've been presented with. I know sometimes we get our information from the fields. We're constantly bombarded with what our family says or what social media says or what the news says. And you need to keep in mind that everything on the outside that you have perceived, they are stories. And so it helps to go a little more internal, go hug a tree, sit in nature, or like Rossi's going to be doing, sitting and knitting and playing with the wool, and you ask for the truth. And then you need to give the space to see if it comes in and what the message may be as it comes in. Sometimes your messages can take time. For example, I just finished having a break, and it wasn't really a break per se. I had some things that were coming in, some really large energies. And in fact, Grandmother Whale was the one that finally showed up and led me into the depths to show me what was trying to present itself. And it took me well over a week to come into stillness. I was shocked at sometimes having to do the step back and come into stillness. Oh, we have been so conditioned to be in the movement, the action, busyness for busyness sakes. And sometimes just coming into the stillness and giving ourselves time. You're okay. The world will not end if you're not doing stuff. It can take a bit for the actual truth to show up. And it can take you into surprising areas. Yeah, for example, for mine, I was brought into a modality with a Hawaiian mentor. And so he's been teaching some of the ancient mu for moving of the spine, ulu. And it's been bringing in dragon energies, because the bones in the spine are the dragon energies. And that was what Grandmother Whale was teaching me, was that I needed to focus now more on bringing in the different tones for the different vertebrae. We have 33 vertebrae in the spine, and these are the dragon bones. And so it was coming into learning that, and I'm still in practice and still in learning phase. But yes, grandmother whale, and it was surprising to me because at the time I was shocked my dolphin guides had left. I was throwing a pity party there for a little bit because I'm like, man, I'm left all alone. I got abandoned. I can't believe this. I guess I'll just continue doing what I'm doing. But that was just it. The dolphins who are laughing at me now, they've come back. Cheeky little guys. But that was just it. They needed to be quiet and they needed to give me the space that grandmother whale could come up and present off. And at that point, it was take my hand and here we go. So, or in her case, the gigantic fluke, and down into the depths we went. So sometimes your guides will come in and they will be surprising. She hasn't presented since I was bumped to do my Huna seal back in 2021. She has been there supporting, but she has remained quiet this whole time. And so this week was a little unusual. I don't know if I think everybody in here was also in for the astrology read. And I started to say something whenever we did it for the Tirani, which is the sign of the hummingbird. That's the motu for February. The card that came up this week for the Tiranis, the hummingbirds, was the elephant. And the elephant is one of the support beings for the sign of Kopanui, the sign of the wombat, which is my sign, hypnicity sign as well. And so I started to take note of that. And then whenever we got to the sign of the wombat, ours this week was the hummingbird card. So there is a crossing over, there's a sharing of energies of those two beings, those two motus this week. So if you're a Tirani or if you are a Kopanui, take sign. You may have, well, to begin with, you may have hummingbirds showing up, or you may have more messages coming from somebody from the opposite sign. Same thing with Tiranis. Tirani, the sign of the Kopanui is the sign of the wombat. And so you may be having people show up that are born in the sign of June. You may have messages coming in from groundhogs, marmots, or other representations as well. My mother-in-law comes in as a green hummingbird. You may have messages from her this upcoming week then. So it'll be interesting to see what does come up. So I kind of wanted to get quiet here for just a minute. I want to do, of course, our Lemurian our Lemurian Light Codes, our Lemurian Light technologies here. And so, I sorry, the dolphins are coming back, so it's I can hear them chattering. So I am not those signs, and yet I've had a hummingbird land on the branch next to me yesterday. How beautiful. Lori, they are the hummingbirds. That sign represents the tiny voice from heaven, which quite frankly is not so tiny because they are bringing messages from the other side. So be aware. If you're quiet, sometimes you will have the impulses, the messages that they are sending through. Okay, so Tihe Mori Ora Mahaka watahi it ingwa te to iri te otawana. Why you tapu kita. It ingwa ta fenui. Trani te kitao. Why you tapu kita. It ingwa te fire tamatu te tama. Why you tapu kita. Tihe Mori Ora. E te I a. U pe o e. U pe a il I. Ul o eb. Tano nu eb ma. Il I. Hakata. Toropa. Pote hituma kaki ma kaki ka. Naro. Hawa tu taki ma taki ka tahitu. Te upo. Okay, and I'm hearing an extra. So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to take Tukupinga Maui, which is the net of Maui, and Maui are the children from the heavens, children from the stars. It's a little galactic energy that we're coming in here with. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine the net of Maui with the days of the week. And then we're going to go backward and then forward. Tukupinga Maui, sa, Tukupinga Maui, toho, Tukupinga Maui, tika, Tukupinga Maui, wi paka, Tukupinga Maui, maki, Tukupinga Maui, rehu, Tukupinga Maui, ta, Tukupinga Maui, ta, Tukupinga Maui, Rehu, Tukupinga Maui, Maki, Tukupinga Maui, Wi Paka, Tukupinga Maui, Tika, Tukupinga Maui, Toho, Tukupinga Maui, Sa. Beautiful. Okay. Alrighty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hypnicity saying with her son facing surgery soon, I am not surprised that she's hanging around. I fully agree. So I have just been seeing fishing lights in colors off and on. Your yellow, blue, green. Gorgeous. Those were the same colors that you had last time for your energy. So let's go ahead and do another one of the bubble techniques. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the energy healing with that. Let me see. I'm going to do some energy balancing. Yeah. So we're going to do this. Beautiful. Okay. So just kind of settle into the nice lavender field here. And what we're going to do is gently look up. And then what I want you to do is close your eyelids down. And then keep your eyes up behind your eyelids. You may feel your eyes begin to do a fluttering sensation. And that's perfect. Okay, now relax your eyes. But imagine a light coming from above and let it be whatever color it wants to be. And I'm going to be adding in my own energy balancing as we're doing this, but we're bringing in universal light from above. Allow it to bathe the top of your head and flow down and around your forehead, bathing your eyes, the sinuses, your nose, teeth, tongue, jaw, throat, ears, so that you hear love. Feel it bathing around the back of your neck. It's another sinus cavity back there where the base of the skull joins the top of the neck. Watch it come down through your neck and into the tops of the shoulders, bathing all around the scapula, the shoulder blades themselves, underneath, tops of the shoulders, collarbone, top of the shoulders, off the shoulders, and watch it team down both arms to the elbows. Somebody's got a really tender right elbow. There it goes. Down through the forearms, both forearms, bathing all through the forearms, your wrists, a lot of congestion there, through the hands, fingertips, and out towards Mother Earth. And same light from above, watch it come all the way through the heart space and into the chest, bathing all around the lungs and the heart itself. And there's a sac called a pericardium that surrounds the heart, bathing in and around through all of the spaces and crevices of the heart, all of the spaces in and around through the lungs. We're going to watch this light power wash the lungs down through the diaphragm. Feel it coming down your back, through the rib cage, into the tummy. Now I want you to turn up the volume of this light. Power wash through the tummy spaces, all the crevices. We tend to store a lot of trapped energy, stagnant energy in the tummy spaces. So we're just going to use this light from above and power wash down also through your spinal column. See any gunk just kind of melting away in front of it, aiming for Mother Earth. Down through your hips, power washing the hips. Sometimes we get stuck energy in the hips. Down through the legs, down through your thighs, to the knees, power washing both knees so that we can feel safe in the world as we move forward. Down through the shins and calves, your ankles, Beautiful. Heels. Ouch, somebody's foot. There it goes. Through the balls of the feet. Now, through the toes. Imagine that light from above going all the way through your feet and into Mother Earth, and it's just driving any gunk that you had into Mother Earth. Don't worry about Mother Earth. She knows what to do with this energy. She's amazing at transmuting it. So keep that light going from above. Now we're going to imagine a light coming from Mother Earth, and she's going to bubble this light up. Feel it fizz all the way up through the soles of your feet. That color that she's given can be the same color as above, or it can be a different color. It can be the same color as last week, or it can be a different color. Just let it be whatever color it wants to be. Feel it fizzing up through the ankles, shins, fizzing through the calves, fizzing up through your knees, fizzing up, coming up through the thighs, up through the hips, up through your tummy, all along the spine, up through the diaphragm, into the heart space, up through your rib cage, and feel both lights meet in your heart. And it's going to form a bubble, orb, a sphere. Somebody loves their little egg shape, the little teardrop. If you want to do a teardrop, you go right ahead. Now imagine that bubble pushed out all the way around you. It can be 10 feet. It could be 3 feet. It could be 15 feet. You'll feel it snick into place, whatever's comfortable for you. Let it be whatever color it wants to be, so that the only thing inside this bubble is the light coming from above, the light coming from below, Mother Earth, and you. Now, if you're an empathic person, you can set other colored bubbles all the way around this one for more protection. And set the intention that only your highest good, frequencies of your highest good, come through these bubbles. Now you can reset this energy as many times as you like. You can set it before you go out into the mall or the post office, anywhere that you're going to be around other people. Okay, and I'm hearing we're going to go ahead and do the rod at the same time. So keep your bubble in place, keep the initial lights coming. You're going to see a rod of sparkling diamond, bright, bright white light, and it's going to come up from Mother Earth. It's going to go all the way through and around your bubble and the original colors, and you're going to see it shoot up through the sky of Earth, and it's going to arc all the way through the galaxy to the central sun, anchoring the light from the central sun all the way around you and your column of light. Then this light anchoring you into Mother Earth, so that there's a further protective field around you, and so that you are the part of bringing the light from the central sun and anchoring it into the light of Mother Earth, planet Maita. I just got an image. I don't know if anybody remembers it. Do you remember the game from the 1970s, the Light Brights, where you pushed colored pegs through a piece of paper and there was a light behind it and the colored pegs light up? We're kind of like the colored pegs lighting up for the Light Bright. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, everybody. Coming back into your body when you're ready. Maintaining that connection from Mother Earth and into the central sun. Unicity saying my shoulders sounded like Rice Krispies. Snap, crackle, pop. Beautiful. I'm getting the same colors last week. Is that normal? Yes. Yes, it is. Sometimes what you'll have is the same colors will come in, and sometimes those will be the same colors that you'll retain over and over and over. And then sometimes you'll have something surprising come through, like say just a random color of red or brown. And it's like, whoa, what was that? It could just be that your auras for that week, that there's something that you needed to support you even more. But a lot of times you're going to find that they'll be the same favorite colors. And sometimes the light from above won't actually be a color, it'll be white light. And that's because there is all colors in that as it's coming in. But it's easier if you can allow it to happen. Yeah, white from above, green from below. For me, that's beautiful ethnicity. And as I said, just remember white contains all the colors of the rainbow. It's very well balanced. I bought a light bright last summer. I saw it at Lowe's. Oh my goodness. I have to say I got that for Christmas one year, and it was one of the best Christmas presents I've ever had. I had so much fun with that little light bright. I don't think my mom was enthusiastic. Unfortunately, the stepping on those pegs was about as fun as stepping on a Lego, but I loved it. So Lori Hunsinger, interesting that all of my colors today were white. It felt refreshing and calming. Beautiful. Orange from above, purple below. Oh, that's beautiful, Kat. Paul saying, yeah, I had a light bright as well. It was fun. I loved it. I always ask for the protection of the divine white light. Beautiful. Gorgeous. And like I said, what's going to happen is as we go throughout our day, we set it. Usually I recommend setting this in the morning as a bubble technique. And then throughout the day, we'll kind of get pulled off guard or off center. And then just try to remember to reset it. The more that you do, the more you can stay in that flow of white light or your colored bubbles. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. I love that. That was probably one of my favorite from childhood. The light brights. So many different colors. And now we get to be the light bright. We get to be the pegs. I never had one. I wanted one. Still in the box. Oh, when grandson is old enough. I gotta be honest, Kat, get one for yourself. Yeah, it was great being a kid in the 70s. Yeah, mine were golden yellow from above. Oh, that's gorgeous, Rossi. And a pale green from below. I just love how the different colors come in. So beautiful. And it's divine wisdom, so it knows what colors you need each day. We keep it here so I can play. That's a great idea. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. That was in Lowe's, huh? Mm, that'll be great. I don't think I have a Lowe's anywhere nearby, but I had that, and I had Easy Bake Oven. That was the name of it. I was shocked, even as a kid. We had, because it was Christmas time, we always had the nuts in the shell. And so I was really surprised, but we cracked open a whole bunch of the different nuts and then put them in the tray and put them through the Easy Bake Oven, and it roasted them. Of course, let's be serious. It was like a 60-watt light bulb back then, so it did take time. The cake was not as big a success as the roasted Christmas hazelnuts and things like that, but yeah, good times. It was a lot of fun back then. Santa Claus brought the best gifts. And then like what Kat's saying, then you get to relive that whenever you're older. You get to bring it back out, play with them whenever they're little. Yeah, I remember playing with that. Oh, how adorable. Oh my word, that's gonna be so cute. I got a remote controlled John Deere tractor for his birthday later this year. Can't wait. Oh, that's gonna be such fun. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun whenever you get the grandkids around. I always liked it whenever they were like toddler size and up. Because boy, there's just a ton of games that you can do, and everything is new for them. Taking them outside, yeah, letting them take a close look at the different flowers, letting them experience different things. Getting them involved in baking or getting them involved in knitting. Um, there's a ton of things that are fun, and the kids make it new, and that's just it because they're newly here. They're not that far from the original source, and so you've got that fresh energy coming in. Yeah, he will be too. I'm surprised that they made it for kids that young. Mhm. And that's one to keep an eye on it because sometimes those things will slip through, and just make sure that there's no choking hazards. Yeah, we just put up Halloween last week. Ah, here come the pumpkins. Here come actually, the cobwebs. I've been getting real cobwebs for the last 2 weeks. Our spiders are just like, "Wee!" So you walk through a doorway and then it's like, trying to get all the cobwebs off. And you come back through and they've been busy restringing it, and it's like, okay, guys, you're gonna have to figure out how tall I am. And that's just it. They did. They started figuring out how tall I am, and so now they're building it into the archways where I don't hit it. They're smart. Got to give them kudos for that. And if they want to eat midges, great. I'm all for that. Go for it. And the leaves. I don't know. Have you guys had your leaves come down? My cherry tree, she packed it in way early this year. I think that was even in August that she's like, nope, autumn's coming. And I'm like, you're kidding me. And it wasn't even a week later that she said, no, autumn is coming, that not all of them left, but half of my barn swallows left, which is just stunning for me because I think that's the earliest they've ever left here. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yep. Got the maple leaves on the ground. Yeah. Yeah. Gorgeous. Yeah. Don't do very much, just do some. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some people really go really far out, but I've always been a middle of the road whenever it comes to my decoration, and now I'm pretty minimalist. I've been known to just put a bow on the front gate and that's about it. So, yeah, the kid next door will love it. It whenever I was younger, we lived in different areas, and so it was the one year we had a pet, and she was called the species is called a Coatimundi. I think other people will call it also a cootie Monday, but it's a member of the raccoon family. And for this one year, we had moved into an apartment with a bay window, and Amanda's cage sat in the front window. And normally we had the blinds pulled so that she wouldn't get harassed. But for Halloween, what we did, I decorated the front stoop and we kept the windows open so that she could see the kids coming up to the stoop to get their trick or treating. And it was adorable because you had two people on either side. The little ones were all, what in the world? And Amanda, of course, was looking at all these little kids in their costumes going, what in the world is that? Oh, hello, Brother Carl. Lovely to see you. We were talking about you earlier, thinking of you and sending you good energy, good luck. So, my kitty was pregnant. Beautiful. How wonderful. I am so, 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 so glad for you. Congratulations. So, she's got 5 babies now. That's wonderful. Yay. Yeah, I was struggling to get a bead on her. I really couldn't feel into it, which is extremely odd for me because normally my gifts, they kind of work like an X-ray, and for whatever reason, I was not allowed to see into her. So I'm so happy. Congratulations. Yeah, I'd say just try to keep her as calm as you can. Um, instead of well, you'll know what to do best for them, for sure. With your pregnant kitty, any nursing cats, if you can give them any kind of mm, oh healthy fats. So sardines is something that I keep hearing over and over and over. But anything that can help with the fat to help with the milk production. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about Halloween because Halloween, obviously, we're pumpkin season in the northern hemisphere, so autumn harvests. And in fact, I think Thanksgiving comes up pretty soon for our Canadian friends to the north. Now, Canada, it goes Alaska, Canada, Greenland, America, Mexico, and I think it stops at Mexico. No, no, not Mexico. It goes all the way through Central America to the Isthmus of Panama. That is all. Oh, and I almost forgot. It also includes Hawaii, and that is Honu. That is Turtle Island. So sometimes you'll hear our indigenous people, and they will call the Americas Honu or Turtle Island. So each of the continents sits on a particular area of land. So the last month for the sign of the dove, Namu, that was the Russia. That was where that continent is. And I haven't looked up Kirihi. Could probably do that. And I'm vague on where Kirihi is. I'm thinking Kirihi is Eastern Europe, but I need to double check it just to be absolutely sure. But I think it's the place that is the Romanias and the like Estonia, that sort of area. That'll be the continent for Kirihi. I'm glad, Carl. It's never fun saying goodbye, but I'm glad that you've got the closure. Oh, how fun! Disneyland or Disney World? Disneyland. So that's going to be over in California. So we're doing Disneyland this year for Christmas. Can't wait. It'll be the first time. That's fun. I got to do Disney World ages ago. That was in end of October going into November, and they decorate the parks beautifully. Now I don't know if they do fireworks each night, but they were definitely doing fireworks whenever we were there. And it's fun to see. It is. You're welcome, Paul or Carl. I'm really happy that I could have helped as much as I can. I don't know if you're still doing that, but I really recommend continuing to do the video on repeat. And again, you can put that on mute. It sounds really bonkers, but you can put that on mute and then put that on repeat. And the energy in there is actually quantum. And so what's going to happen is it will work on your field in the environment. It's going to be working also on the energy system for your kitty cats and for you. And so it's going to help to balance and elevate that up and out. It can, for an environment, take time. And for an example, whenever my friend had to use it for environmentally balancing because she had a toxic neighbor, it took a 3-month window of her playing that constantly daily for the environment to balance. But then the universe came in and that guy glitched, was her words, and he instantly turned around, went back inside, and put the home up for sale the next day. And the people that they have is just amazing. So, yeah, come along, bring the family. Well, that's quite a ways from us. Disneyland's quite the distance from us here on the Oregon coast. I think to drive through California it takes at least a couple days, and that would just be nonstop driving. But you'll have a lot of fun down there, I'm sure. I'm trying to remember. It's the 70th, isn't it? I think for Disneyland. And then, of course, America will have its birthday, the 250th birthday. That'll be next year. I'm looking forward to that. I have some pretty vivid memories. Whenever I was a child in the 70s, we had the bicentennials, and it was a lot of fun in 1976. Um, Everybody had the fireworks, and my brother and I, we went down to Civic Park with my parents, and it was amazing the displays that they put on. And my hubby, he's older than me, and he was in a different part of the country, and he got to see. I didn't realize it. Well, I was a little kid, but he said that they had done something called a Freedom Train, where they had decorated um, a specific choo-choo train, and they had all kinds of items in there. So it was a lot of fun. Well, that's interesting. So I just did a search, and Kirihi means Greece in Maori. Well, all I have to say is my source material, Huna Flash, was Maori from New Zealand. And he insisted that it meant the sign of the lamb. So there's a lot of crossovers that can happen. And I find sometimes with the languaging, it will have different meanings. Wow, that's so cool. So Rossi was in New York City for the bicentennial. We saw the boats that were on the Hudson. Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. Yeah, I was very young, so I remember very little. Yeah, I was pretty young for it myself, but it was so hot that summer. And back then nobody had nobody had air conditioning. But yeah, I still distinctly remember the fireworks that they did. And I thought they did a great job with the displays. Of course, everybody everybody had their own fireworks. I got to watch one of the guys where we lived. He set his house on fire. So everybody in the neighborhood was over there with their garden hoses. But I even remember as a kid, it's like, "Well, I don't think the bottle rocket idea is such a hot idea because it's really hot and everything's dry." Next thing you know, you're hearing the neighbor kaya and can see it set off a bottle work or a bottle. What was it? Bottle rocket. That was the name of them. Yeah, good times, good times. At least his house didn't catch on fire. I used to like the oh, what were those sparklers? Yeah, the sparklers. That was a lot of fun. You could write your name in the with the sparklers. I was pretty low key whenever it came to the fireworks though. I much prefer to see them set on with the um just like in Civic Park whenever they did it. The guys that came in to do it knew what they were doing, and that was a lot more fun to me. I didn't have to worry about somebody that I knew and loved going up in smoke. Wow. Ooh, wow. So Paul's saying mom and dad met years ago in Disneyland. Karen Carpenter and Richard doing Mr. Postman. How amazing. And they got the picture talking with them. That is amazing. How cool. Wow. What a neat story, Paul. Wow, that's wonderful. So you're getting to go over to Graceland, and then you're gonna do the Disneyland. That's a lot of fun. I'm sure your mom's just gonna be tagging along. Happy memories. That's for sure. Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that came up this week for me, we have crows. We do have crows around, and I adore my crows. Um, and unfortunately, right now I don't have I don't have enough abundance to be able to feed them. So, because crows do take an awful lot of food whenever they eat. So earlier this year, we came to an accord. They know that I absolutely adore them. But yeah, I'd ask them to go find food in the fields or food from other neighbors. And so they had been foraging and raising their young. And so the other day, whenever I came through, they were laughing and they were saying hi to me in the mornings. And whenever I went to go take care of my pony, she was getting a decent drink of water. And one of them landed on top of the roof of the barn, and so I was walking all around calling to me, and I was calling back. And my poor pony, she wasn't too sure about that. But it is fun for me because whenever they laugh, that's just it. They laugh, and it sounds very similar to my laugh, and a lot of times we'll have this spontaneous laughing back and forth session. And so this week, my shirt is actually the crow, and then for the Kivihis, it was the crow card this week. So it's just interesting to me to see the different connections, the different things that are popping in. Wow. I agree, Paul. Kat saying your life is exciting and your family is too. That'll be fun. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Says Dad and I did not see eye to eye in this world. But, he was right and I was always wrong. Isn't that the way of it? I think we come down here and that's just it. Um, we agreed on the other side to do these lessons, and sometimes our loved ones, they'll be the friction for us in order to do our growth. Well, and now that he's on the other side, I'm sure that there's a lot of things where he's still watching over you and keeping an eye on you and going, now, you better do it right or not do it at all. Let me see. Oh, let's go back a slide. Yeah. So we'll bring out the Oregon Coast slide for the remainder here. So this is Pacific City. Everybody I know, this is actually the haystack rock that is off Pacific City. So this is one of the sea stacks. This is another one of our rock formations on the Oregon coast. And Pacific City is located about an hour's drive south of the famous Cannon Beach one. This one is a slightly smaller stack, but it is also a beautiful area. And the cool thing about Pacific City is where you're seeing is where the Dory Cove is, where the fish boats launch out. And they're active working fishermen. They are the dory fishermen. And so they have a specific boat. They will launch it from the trailers right there on the beach. They will go out, do their fishing, come back in, and then they will launch and land right on the beach. It's also another area that people do a lot of surfing. So it's one of the popular surfing areas. And what was fun was back in the day, back in the 90s, I actually had a dog grooming place to the south in Lincoln City. Pacific City was it's up and over the mountain. Probably take you about 20 minutes to get to Pacific City from Lincoln City, where I had the dog grooming. And that Pacific City at the time had like a four-way stop and not much else. There was campground, the dory fishing, and that was pretty much it. It's very tiny. And whenever I was doing the dog grooming, we had Pelican Brewing come in. And so they kind of put Pacific City on the map. I think they've already cleared their, well, they easily cleared the 25th anniversary of them being a working brewery and a working restaurant. So if you're ever in Pacific City on the Oregon coast, it's called Pelican Brewing. Can't miss it. It's a big facility, beautiful building that they had built specifically on the coast. I think actually that they may have rehabbed the original building, but the views are incredible and the food is really good. How cool. Down to earth. Yeah. Well, hey, I know where good food is, at least on the Oregon coast. But they've expanded. Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah, I was going to say they've expanded the Pelican Brewing, so you can find one now to the south of Lincoln City. So it'll be in the Taft area as you're leaving town. Actually, more like Cutler area, and then Cannon Beach. Cannon Beach also has one as well. But the headquarters, the Flagstaff, the original that I knew, it was right there. Do you ever get mad? Yeah. It doesn't happen very often, but yeah, I do get angry sometimes. And I'll say it, if you need to get angry, boy, you just let loose. Have at. Because you'll see with little kids, they'll throw these temper tantrums. They'll have meltdowns or have temper tantrums. And they'll argue and fight with each other, especially if they're little kids, if they're really, really young. And if you just allow them to work it out, they'll become best buddies, usually within the space of just 5 minutes. But the cool thing about that with a little one is a lot of times they will work through their emotions. And of course, you've got to coach them because you don't want toxic anger. But if you allow them to do that, and it's a good example for what the adults need to do too. If you're angry, then you have a right to be angry. And usually with anger, you're going to find that it has triggered a safety issue. That's a lot of times what's underneath the anger is that somehow you felt unsafe in the world. Look at road rage. When you see people road raging um, on the highways, some of the time it's just because you feel like the other person is driving too slowly, and there's that agitation thing. But the other end of the spectrum is you'll find people that rage because they are observing other people's cars coming in too closely to them, that you feel like you're endangering not only your own life, but the life of your loved ones as you're traveling in a car. And so a lot of times it'll come out as road rage. So if you do just a little bit of digging underneath, it's like, okay, what is this? Why do I feel why do I feel scared? What's provoking this? What's underneath it? Yeah, my sister is always telling me to zip it. It ticks you off, doesn't it? Well, I will say with the zip it thing, because you're interacting with another being, go into another room, excuse yourself, and you can do a silent scream even, but you can scream into a pillow, maybe put a pin in it, but that same day, whenever you're winding down to go to bed, put a pillow over your head and just scream into it. Now, if you're going to do a scream, I'm going to advise everybody, be sure to support your voice. Take a nice deep breath in. But what I want is I want you to go ahead and squeeze and hold in your abdomen and come from the lungs. Don't scream from just the throat because you'll damage your voice and you'll damage your throat. But get yourself a decent breath, support the voice, support the lungs, and let it rip into the pillow so that you're not scaring God and everybody. Obviously, if there's people around you that might be able to hear it, warn them that you're going to do it and just yell into the pillow as many times as you need. And you'll feel a peace come over because at some point you will have expressed that energy to come out of your body. And then a calmness will arrive. And then whenever the calmness is there, then you can go ahead and you can figure out, okay, what this was. What was I needing to express? What was the underlying theme of that? Oh, it's very frustrating. Yeah, it's like this. I notice with my grandson, sometimes he's too young to talk, which is, babies. So when I'm tired, the telepathy will not sync up, and I can tell he's trying to tell me something that I need to understand. Cat, get yourself some supporting healthy fats. Yeah, and sometimes I'll figure it out. Yeah, and a lot of times it's basic needs that they have. Yeah. But the reason I'm suggesting healthy fats when you're tired, but the brain where the telepathy is occurring, our brains are made of 80 to 85% fat. And I started to say healthy fat, and that's just it. You need to make sure it is a healthy fat. Try to avoid seed oils when you can because those are inflammatory. They do not support the needs of the brain. But you need the fat in order to support the brain. And yeah, Paul, have fun. It's called a scream therapy. It was one of the things I was taught whenever I was very young. And we lived out in the country. And so whenever we were super, super angry, what we did was we warned everybody that we were going to do that. And then we just go to the backside of the hill and just yell. And that was just it. My mom went ahead and taught each one of us kids so that you do not harm your throat when you're doing it. And so you constantly get yourself a decent lung full of breath, and you're going to support, tighten the belly. You're going to support the lungs from below. And then you use that to express all of the anger. And my brother, especially my older brother, he did have a lot of frustration. And so it was a matter of, okay, and building your tools for your toolbox, trying to get ahead of the curve of what is it that's really making me angry? Are you hungry? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling, and lonely is usually scared, or am I tired? Do I need to just go take myself a nap? Um, and sometimes this anger thing will come up, like I said, because you feel obligated. You have different things that you need to do, and you don't feel capable of expressing yourself in the moment, and it can come out as anger. Or just the basic thing of, you're not listening to me. I don't feel like I'm being supported, and it's beginning to make me feel unsafe in the world. And that will come out as anger. You're going to give it a try. Great. Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah, eventually I figure out what he's trying. And I think he knows that I'm trying. And that's just it, especially with the telepathy. And, I find it humorous because we're coming into an age, the next age will be the telepathy again. And I know a lot of people are afraid of it. When it comes up, it's going to be okay because we do use telepathy. It's the same thing with the animals. They communicate telepathically. And obviously with the little ones, same thing. The mothers are absolutely, and the younger people's caregivers, absolutely, they're telepathic. They will know when that baby's about to wake up because the baby is beginning to come back into the body, and it's sending out those messages telepathically. So their needs are already being broadcast. And so the mother's picking up on that by telepathy. So I know a lot of us are, a little daunted by the idea of, oh my God, you can see everything that I've got going. And yes and no. There are the abilities to block and to have privacy and to have private thoughts. So that's still going to remain. But you've already got that basic instinct. You've already got that basic skill there. And it's not going to be an effort when it happens. Yeah, I love this picture of Pacific City. This is one of my favorites. With the clouds over the sky like that, you're not going to have that green flash whenever it goes down, though. On clear days, it's very rare, but on the clear days, as the sun sets down below the horizon, you will get what's called a green flash. And I cannot tell you how many sunsets I have stood there with my eyeballs open watching the sunset and getting the imagery seared into my eyes. But when the green flash happens, it's an optical illusion. As the rim of the sun goes down below the horizon, there will be a split second of an emerald green flash that will shoot up and all across the sky. It doesn't happen very long, and then it coalesces back just to that little piece of sun sliver that's going down over the rim. And it's really amazing. When I think it was one of the Pirate of the Caribbean movies, they used that in one of the storylines, and they said that a soul comes back. I had never heard that before, but the depiction that they had in that movie was correct. That was accurate. So if you ever get the opportunity, as I said, that I don't know about the whole soul comeback thing because me as a local, I'd never heard that. But yeah, it's amazing. It's a great representation of that. And yeah, the telepathy. I love talking to my dogs and cats. Yeah, absolutely. I constantly chatter whenever and in fact, my wildlife, a lot of times if I'm not physically chattering, like it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes I'll get a sore throat and I can't talk, and it kind of freaks out all the animals around me. But they know with the telepathy, they know when I'm awake. They know whenever I'm moving around the house. A lot of times I'm barely awake and they're already greeting me for the day. Yeah, my dog does that with me too. Beautiful. Aw, they're so in tune. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow, we're well over the well, not well over, but we're over the hour mark already. This has been a great show. A lot of fun. Yeah, okay, Paul. Paul's headed back to work, and much love to everybody. Yes, absolutely. Tell Elvis. So is that next week then, or is it this week? She's bossy. Yes, doggos can be extremely demanding. Was it dogs prepare you for babies and kids, toddlers and kids, and then cats. Having a cat prepares you for owning or having a teenager. This week. Okay, so yeah, tell Elvis we say hi. Or his I don't know if that was his mama or his grandmama that I saw last week. I'm thinking it might have been his mama in the kitchen. But yeah, if you're in the kitchen area, tell her I say hi. Tell her we see you. Wonderful. And okay, so for anybody that may have fallen asleep whenever I was doing the energy work earlier, or if you were doing when we were doing the bubble technique, I was also combining energy work at the same time. So if you were doing any yawning, sneezing, coughing, tears can run, tummy rumbles, be sure to get yourself a drink of water because there was an actual physical thing that happened, and that will help flush that out of your body. Basically, it was old gunk that you were holding onto in your energy field gets released into the body. And so by drinking the water, that will help to flush it out. If you've fallen asleep, do not beat yourself up. It's perfect because what happened is your conscious mind was basically taken offline so that the energies that you experienced today could integrate. So yeah, wonderful everybody. Thank you so much for showing up and for being here this week, and have a lot of fun this week, and I hope you enjoy, and safe travels to you, Paul, and enjoy your new kittens. Carl, congratulations on the new kitties and the new babies in the family. And yeah, I will see you next week, everybody. Wawa nui.